welcome back. I'm Tyler, you're watching Scarfing Scarves, and welcome to the 14th installment of Last Week Lolita News. At the top of the segment, Angelic Pretty released yet another chocolate print with the launch of the Melty Whip Chocolate series. The series makes a fantastic effort to distract us from the relatively unoriginal concept by tossing in enough braided cord to scale a castle wall, and the chocolate lovers out there are sure to add this nut to their hoard like a gathering of deranged squirrels. Surveys say the reasons behind the obsession may have something to do with the kind of candy camouflage to distract goth Lolitas long enough for the sweet ones to get away. Everyone knows those girls only eat dark chocolate, and the ploy may allow them to survive long enough to ride out the reign of their classic overlords. For power in the Lolita world is tenuous at best, and it's only a matter of time before someone throws a frilly coup d'etat. Enjoy it while you can, couch Litas. Moving on to social news. It's blank. This can't be happening. There must be something here. This hasn't happened before. You can't tell me that they're behaving themselves. This isn't possible. I don't understand. Oh my God! There's nothing here because the entire Lolita community seems to have decided to behave themselves for more than 5 seconds. Okay, there was one lady that threw a minor shit fit over some feedback on Lolita Sales English, but she doesn't count. For once, there was peace in the Lolita community. No one accused anyone of cultural erasure for wearing the wrong kind of frilly accessory. I didn't read anything about the fashion being a ravenous tool of the brand whore bourgeoisie, and not a single person went out of their way to make me want to bash my head against the table, pick up my computer, and throw it at the first person who looked at me funny. Which is a nice way of saying it was dead boring. I'm so proud! With any luck, the peace treaty will last long enough that the people taking bets can collect before someone goes south on some girl for breathing too loudly. As that about wraps up the week, and before we get to our special segment, I'd like to return to that website everyone loves to hate in a bit called Whatifa Lace Market. The premise is simple. I browse here, find something that confuses, disturbs, or makes me question the whole of humanity, and you benefit from the dark marks it leaves on my soul. So, without further ado, let's get this going. What the fuck is that? At first I thought that perhaps my monitor was playing tricks on my eyes, but no matter how you spin it, I can only see one thing. That's a dead weasel. You can call it Mr. Wolf all you want, but nothing is going to change the fact that it looks like you killed your house pet and turned it into a handbag. Mr. Sprinkles didn't deserve that, and though I'm sure it was a real pain to have him steal your keys and hide them along with the bathtub stopper and a ball of lint in general thievery, you didn't have to axe murder the poor dear just to make a point. This testament to teeny revenge is currently going for 50 USD, and should you have too much money and too little empathy for the plight of creatures that just want to make you an hour late for work while you have a full psychotic breakdown over whatever they've taken from you this time, you're welcome to purchase it from the link below. I hope the ghost of Mr. Sprinkles haunts you, and you will get no sympathy from me when you find your keys hovering in a ball of dryer lint in last year's Halloween candy. It is on that note that we turn towards Last Week Lolita News' next special segment, in which I try to implement basic law and order. You roll your eyes so far back into your head it hurts, and we all agree to disagree, but not really, in a method commonly known as, yeah, well that's just your opinion, man. Thanks for stating the obvious in advance, and welcome to Top 5 Meetup Rules. Rule 1. No pets. While I understand that there's nothing more precious than Captain Fluffybutt and his matching cord, there are some things that just don't mix with certain events. Those events happen to include anything that requires you to enter just about any building, and while the aesthetic appeal of your pride and joy might be great for pictures, it's not going to be very pretty when the two of you are left outside while everyone else enjoys themselves within. Bringing a pet places the organizer in a particularly awkward position, as they will feel responsible for making sure no one is left to themselves, and I can't promise you that they won't be thinking up creative ways to punt the little fluffer over a fence in order to continue on their way. This isn't even to mention the risk of claws on chiffon dresses, and God help you if your little monster yaks on someone's shoes. You'd think Lolitas would be too dainty to do much damage, but you wind a girl the right way, and Fido is going to be orbiting the sun. Speaking of tiny monsters that shouldn't be let anywhere near expensive dresses, Rule 2. Leave the kids at home. Tiny humans have no place at a gathering of frilly fashion enthusiasts. No adult wants to censor themselves at the tea party because someone decided to bring along a 5-year-old. And so help me, if your toddler puts their sticky hands on my dress, they are going to be carting me away in a police van before you can even say, "Aw, isn't that cute?" No, seriously, I'm not going to punch your kid, but I'm going to be thinking it so hard it might just take out an entire city block. Don't test me. At the barest minimum, you should ask the organizer before bringing along little Timmy, and please consider the fact that there's a chance that anyone whose job entails dealing with children will not be thrilled at the idea of being peripherally responsible for yours. Ask first and deal with the verdict better than a toddler deals with having foreign objects yanked out of their mouths before natural selection runs its course, and you're halfway to not being an absolute pain in the ass. Rule 3. Don't host one at insert terrible location of suffering and death. I don't know why this would need to be said, but if you'd like people to attend your event, it would help if the risk of having a bucket of paint thrown on them from above was at least partially minimized. Anyone who goes to the trouble of purchasing, organizing, and then putting together an expensive outfit isn't going to want to enter into a paintball tournament, and Lolitas as a whole are accurately considered to be about as active as a gathering of cantankerous old women. They don't want to go anywhere hot, sweating is absolutely to be avoided, and any plans to have a bunch of faux Victorian princesses hiking through the unpaved wilderness are best left to those who don't mind trashing a bodyline dress while nature does its utmost to remind them of why cities are a thing in the first place. Parks are fine, but nothing says Leonardo DiCaprio waiting to happen quite like hacking through the brush with nothing to defend yourself with but a parasol and some tea party shoes. Those wearing food prints will seem fatally ironic in the wake of an uncouth visit from Smokey the Bear, and it would be recommended that any hoping to leave that godforsaken place with their Wonder Cookie in one piece take stock of their fellow's footwear before Yogi decides what snack to start with first. Trip the closest girl wearing stilettos and you might just get out of there alive. Rule 4. Wear Lolita. There is a reason it's called a Lolita Meetup. Those wearing OG and EGA aside, the entire point of these events is to share and wear the fashion we love. And showing up in blue jeans and a t-shirt to a specific J-fashion meet is kind of like showing up to a classical music club with a kazoo. Sure, what you have there is technically an instrument, but when it comes down to making music together, no one wants to duet with the dying duck. Lolita at heart is not a thing. You're going to need to wear a dress, and if you have a problem with the concept that this fashion is a corporal entity, then I suggest you take your ghost ass back to the graveyard because I'm not messing around with the undead. Think over your attachments to this world and you can return once you've reincarnated as someone's obnoxious kid. And then you're only allowed to attend when you've developed the ability not to be an unbearable prat. See you in 100 years. Rule 5. Have fun! Seriously, this one might sound a little hokey, but who goes to the effort of putting together a fantastic outfit to sit in the corner and sulk? It does you no good to tuck yourself away from the rest of us, and outside of looking like some kind of antisocial flower pot in the corner that's been watered to the extent it sprouted a suspiciously Madonna crown-like set of fronds, sitting alone robs you of the opportunity to share your interests with those around you. This advice goes out specifically to my shy Lolitas, and while I know some of you new ones out there have heard tell of the vicious tendencies of the community online, I can assure you that no one's going to draw and quarter you in person. Those types of people are generally too socially stunted to attend meetups anyway, and truly hostile parties would be ostracized so fast their wig would spin. In short, Lolitas put up with that shit like a cat puts up with you petting its belly. Which is to say, with a swift reminder that you've made a fatally stupid decision, followed by immense pain, followed by pretending you don't exist for at least a week. Meetups are not some kind of nightmare mode fight to the death. They are actually really fun, and if you can handle the general public looking at you like you have a live squirrel doing circus tricks from atop your head, then you're likely going to enjoy yourself quite a bit. Seriously, this fashion is way more fun together. Goodness knows I'd have frack all to talk about otherwise. Because that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for watching Last Week Lolita News, and be sure to tune in next week when we tackle the tough questions like, have Lolitas signed a peace treaty? Should you buy insert eat a dress from eBay? And seriously, what is going on out there? Have you all decided that you like each other? This cannot be happening. Next time on Last Week Lolita News. This has been Tyler. You've been watching Scarfing Scarves, and I'll catch you next time. Hey guys, thanks for spending whatever little time you have left on some random Lolita video on the internet. I'd like to send out a spectacular thank you to my patrons whose support keeps this show on the thin realm of existence. And should you be staring into the void, feel particularly belligerent at the idea of being able to pay your bills this month, or feel like supporting the incoherent drivel of a woman who will likely end up on the nightly news post a full psychotic breakdown, head over to patreon.com/lastweeklolita news. Thanks again guys, and I'll catch you next time on Last Week Lolita News.